The waitress's voice sliced through the restaurant's chatter like broken glass. "You people need to leave. Now." Heads turned. Forks froze midair. At the center of the room sat a young black family. Father in his pressed work shirt, mother clutching a toddler against her chest, and a little boy whose smile crumbled into confusion. The father's hand hovered over his wallet as if to pay before anyone asked, but the waitress wasn't waiting for money. She wanted them gone. A group of college kids at the corner booth snickered, whispering loud enough for everyone to hear, "Guess they wandered into the wrong place." The mother's lips trembled, her eyes scanning the room for even one ally. None came, just silence. Cold, suffocating silence. Then, the heavy footsteps of the manager approaching, each one echoing like a verdict about to be delivered. The family braced themselves. What he said next would decide everything. Marcus Johnson's life was stitched together with early mornings, quiet resilience, and unshakable devotion to his family. He wasn't a man of flashy words or grand gestures. His strength lived in small consistencies. Waking before dawn to pack Caleb's school lunch, slipping on his faded work boots, and heading to the auto shop where grease stained his hands but pride fueled his heart. His co-workers often joked that Marcus could fix anything except the clock that always ran late, but what they didn't see was how often customers ignored him to speak with his white apprentice, or how many times tips vanished into someone else's pocket. Still, Marcus swallowed it all, because one day he dreamed of opening Johnson's garage, a place his children could inherit, a place where his name, not his skin, would greet the sign above the door. Lena, his wife, was the rhythm of the home. She worked part-time at the library, humming gospel songs under her breath while stacking books, always carrying warmth even when exhaustion bent her back. She braided Naomi's hair on Sunday afternoons, teaching patience through the tug of the comb, and she read bedtime stories to Caleb, even when her own eyelids begged for rest. Their love was steady, their laughter genuine, but cracks appeared at the edges. At the grocery store, Marcus would stand in line for 10 minutes only to have the cashier call for the next person behind him. When Lena took the kids to the park, other mothers clutched purses closer, offering tight smiles but stepping back. Caleb came home one day asking, "Mom, why did the teacher say I write so well for a boy like me?" Lena's heart had clenched, but she only said, "Because you're brilliant, baby." Marcus bore these cuts silently, believing his shield of endurance would protect his family. He didn't know that this week, the week he promised Lena he'd finally take her to the new family restaurant downtown, would be the last time life felt normal. That dinner was meant to be a simple celebration, a slice of joy. But the warning signs arrived early. The day before, Marcus found a chalked word scrawled across his garage door, an ugly slur, jagged and raw. He scrubbed it away with steel wool, sweating until his knuckles burned, praying Caleb wouldn't see. But no matter how much he scrubbed, the word stayed burned into his memory. The restaurant that Friday night glowed like a promise. Soft amber lights, polished wood floors, and the faint hum of jazz spilling through hidden speakers. Marcus ironed his shirt twice before leaving, making sure every crease was straight. Lena wore her best earth-toned dress, the one she saved for Sundays, her hands trembling with quiet excitement as she buckled Naomi into her seat. Caleb bounced beside them, eager for crayons and menus with puzzles. For a moment, walking through the door, Marcus felt almost invisible in the best way. Just another family out for dinner, but the illusion cracked quickly. The hostess's smile faltered for a fraction too long before she led them to the far corner table near the kitchen doors, away from the main glow of the room. Marcus noticed but said nothing. He tried to focus on Caleb's chatter, on Lena's soft laugh, but when the waiter passed their table 3 times without stopping, even Caleb frowned, whispering, "Dad, did he forget us?" Eventually, Marcus raised his hand, forcing eye contact, and the waiter approached with the thinnest veneer of politeness. Drinks came late. Their food arrived cold. "Maybe they're just busy," Lena murmured, though her eyes flickered with unease. Across the room, a group of businessmen at the bar kept glancing over, muttering under their breath. Marcus caught fragments. "Don't belong here," "charity case," but kept his gaze low, his hand steady on Caleb's shoulder. Then came the first escalation. A bulky security guard appeared, looming, claiming someone had reported Marcus lingering near the bar and making patrons uncomfortable. Marcus hadn't left his seat. His chest tightened as Caleb's hand clutched his arm. The guard's fingers hovered near his radio, ready to call in backup. For a moment, Marcus imagined the scene. Him dragged out in front of his children, accused of nothing more than existing. After tense silence, the guard backed away, muttering, "Just keep it down." The humiliation stuck like a stain. They tried to salvage the evening, but the next blow landed harder. A college kid sauntered by, accidentally spilling soda over Caleb's carefully colored drawings. "Oops, guess it slipped," his friends laughed. Marcus's fists curled under the table, but Lena's hand on his knee anchored him. "We're almost done," he whispered, though his voice shook. Caleb stared at the ruined paper, his eyes wide with betrayal. The room's energy shifted. Conversations dulled. The family's every move seemed under surveillance, judged and mocked. And then, the trigger. As Marcus reached for the bill, the waitress marched over, voice sharp, cutting through the restaurant's hum. "You people need to leave, now." Her accusation carried no explanation, no pretense. Other families lingered over dessert, laughing, free to stay. But Marcus's family was singled out, their presence treated as intrusion. The room froze, eyes locked on him, waiting to see if he would explode, waiting to confirm their expectations. He didn't. His hand shook as it moved toward his wallet, ready to pay, ready to retreat with whatever dignity remained. But then came the sound. Footsteps, deliberate, heavy, approaching. The manager, his expression unreadable, his silence a blade ready to cut in either direction. Every second stretched unbearably. The trap had closed and the final snap was moments away. The manager stopped at the edge of their table. His shadow stretched across the plates. For a heartbeat, the room seemed to hold its breath. Then his voice broke the silence. "No, they're not leaving." The words dropped like stones in water, rippling outward, shattering the tension. Gasps broke out. The waitress stiffened, color rushing to her face. "But they're causing—" she stammered. His hand rose, silencing her. His voice grew louder, firmer. "The only person causing a problem here is you." Conversation stopped mid-sentence. The college kids' smirks faded. The businessmen at the bar shifted uncomfortably, turning back to their glasses. Still, the manager pressed on, his voice carrying across every corner. "If anyone in this restaurant cannot sit and eat beside this family with respect, then you can get out. Every one of you." The statement split the room. Some muttered angrily, scraping back chairs, leaving in huffs. Others stayed, eyes lowered, ashamed of their silence. The waitress stormed away, muttering curses under her breath. For the Johnson family, time seemed frozen. Caleb clung to his mother's arm, eyes wide. Naomi whimpered softly against Lena's chest. Marcus sat rigid, stunned, unsure if he should speak or stay silent. And then came the image, the one etched into memory forever. The manager, a tall man streaked with gray, pulled out a chair, sat down beside Marcus and leaned close enough for only the family to hear. "Order dessert. It's on me." He smiled, not pitying, not performative, but steady, resolute. The entire restaurant watched, some in disbelief, some in quiet awe, as he broke the invisible wall and chose a side. That moment carved a line in the air. On one side, those who stormed out, faces twisted with anger. On the other, those who stayed, forced to confront the reality they had silently enabled. And in the center, Marcus and his family caught between humiliation and vindication, branded by a night that would never fade. By morning, whispers had turned into wildfire. The story spread through the town like rumor and revelation combined. Some praised the manager as a hero, lauding his courage. Others condemned him, saying he had embarrassed paying customers and jeopardized business. The restaurant became a battleground of opinions. Reporters called, church leaders debated, neighbors took sides. For Marcus, the weight was heavier than the headlines. He sat on his porch that night staring at his calloused hands, replaying every second. The humiliation, the threats, the manager's defiance, it all looped endlessly. Caleb sat beside him, voice small. "Dad." The man sat with us. He wasn't scared. That image became Caleb's anchor, a memory that glowed like a lighthouse in a storm. Lena, though, worried aloud. What if next time no one stands up? The question lingered, unanswered. Within weeks, the waitress was gone, fired for her behavior, though she threatened lawsuits and slander. The college kids avoided the restaurant, their laughter silenced in shame. And yet, for others, the place became something different. A quiet landmark, a symbol of defiance, where families came not just to eat but to sit at the same tables where a choice had been made. Marcus noticed it each by small details. More black families dining there, more smiles exchanged, more silence broken. Still, the wound didn't vanish. It became a scar, permanent and visible. Marcus no longer swallowed insults without response. At the grocery store, he called out the cashier who skipped him. At the shop, he demanded recognition for his work. When Caleb asked hard questions, he answered with honesty, not with protective silence. He realized that dignity was not just endured, but defended. And though fear remained, so did resolve. Because the truth of that night lived on. One voice, one choice, had shifted everything. And so the story passed from lips to ears, from memory to lesson, echoing with a question that demanded reckoning. When the moment comes, when the silence is heavy and every eye is watching, will you stand frozen or will you speak? This story ends here, but in reality, it never ends. Families like theirs live it every day. Have you ever been treated as less than human? Share your truth below. And if you believe these stories must be told, subscribe and keep the light shining.